Whoa. So I thought I'd weigh into the Andrew Lawrence Liverpool scandal / fiasco / drama / problem. So a few days ago, it's been international news, a 53-year-old man from Liverpool was caught in some sort of argument in a crowd of Liverpool fans celebrating in the city centre of Liverpool. The initial footage shows people attacking his car, and then eventually he appears to panic, and he runs over many people, injuring many people, grievously injuring many people, and that's what he's been charged with in court, amongst other things, is causing grievous bodily harm to lots of people. That's probably the most serious charge he's got. Now, he must have a good lawyer, because he's not been charged with attempted murder, so I reckon he's got a very good lawyer. But anyway, so that happened, and it was shocking and very tragic, and children were injured, and children were in intensive care in hospital with serious injuries. And thank God, nobody died. Now, there's a comedian in England, in Britain, in England, called Andrew Lawrence. He's very dry, very funny, delivers a kind of monotone, dry humor, statements and stories. So he released a tweet, or an X post if you prefer, where he, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't want to offend anyone, very public about my love for Liverpool and the Liverpudlians. Love of Scouser me. They get accused of having the worst accent in Britain all the time. Always people making fun of the Scousers. I like the accent. We all know it's Birmingham that has the worst accent in the UK. So to paraphrase Andrew Lawrence's tweet, if I got stuck in a crowd in Liverpool, I'd also drive through it to get the hell out of there, or something like that, is what he said, to paraphrase. It's not word for word accurate. And that was his joke. Now, straight away, online Liverpool got upset, mainstream Liverpool got upset, it made the mainstream news, Sky News, BBC, everyone's reporting on it. Andrew Lawrence banned from Liverpool. So the Liverpool comedy clubs and venues and bars and clubs got together, and they've decided, and they've released a statement saying that they have banned him from any performance in Liverpool for his, what they say is a tasteless and crass joke. Now, I'm stuck here in the middle with you. Jokers to the left of me, jokers to the right. So, I've got many Liverpudlian friends. I've got Liverpudlian YouTube colleagues, like Billy Moore, very famous Scouser, goes around doing very interesting videos. And I'm also a big fan of free speech and free expression, especially when it's abstract and isn't singling individuals out for harassment, for slander. You know, like free speech, very important, the right to offend, because if you want to change stuff, it's offensive to people who don't want to change stuff. If you want to change someone's mind, it's very offensive to someone who doesn't want their mind changed, the things you are saying. So, does Andrew Lawrence's joke fall under, you know, I mean, what's the limits of free speech? Shouting fire in a really crowded room, causing a panic, and where people get injured, yeah, that's probably illegal. Accusing someone in a tense situation surrounded by Antifa and commies, accusing someone of the worst crimes against children to try and get them beaten up, that may be illegal because your intention is to cause violence. But telling a joke, no matter how rude and or offensive, may just very well be kosher, halal, absolutely A-OK free speech. Now, the situation reminds me a bit of a joke by the comedian Bill Hicks, who passed away. many years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And Bill Hicks says, you know, I've been working these small hick towns down in rural Alabama, Louisiana, you know, all these like backward places full of these like, you know, small town Christians. And Bill Hicks grew up in Texas, and he was very well versed with the Christian tradition. I think deep down he did believe in God and a higher power. He just didn't like a lot of organized, corrupt religion. And he says that many times after these small town, you know, redneck shows, he'd get accosted and harassed by Christians saying, hey, Bill, come here. And he did the joke of, come here, pushing him away. We don't like what you said about Christianity in there. And Bill's like, well, forgive me. So these things happen with comedians. And I think it's partly the job of comedians to push the envelope of acceptable free speech. And this incident isn't anywhere near what I think would be pushing the envelope of free speech. It's a joke which is rude to Liverpool and to Liverpudlians. And I think it falls more under British banter and gallows humor, rather than a desire to cause misery and offense. Now, if you're not from the best country in the world, which is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, if you're not from the best country on earth, you may not understand the fine British tradition of teasing and mocking in a loving way. And sometimes it can get quite brutal, but it's still loving. Mocking your fellow Englishman, your fellow Scot. The jokes about the Scottish, they're tight, they're miserable. They say a well-balanced Scotsman has got a chip on each shoulder. That's how miserable they are. And we can laugh about that. The Welsh have a few other jokes. The Welsh jokes are a bit more graphic, involving livestock and wellies. And we can joke about that. And you know, a few minutes ago I said the worst accent in the UK is the Birmingham accent, what we call Brummie. And we can joke about that. And rather than apologizing or deleting his tweet, the follow-up video that Andrew Lawrence did, titled Scouser Madness, or anyway, it's just past 110,000 views. It's from yesterday, I think. He's doubled down, he's tripled down, he has gone full warthog, grunting at the Liverpudlians, and he's teasing them even more. And he's twisting the comedy. I'm not even going to say the word because YouTube is weird. He's twisting the something in the belly. And I know a lot of my Liverpool fans will be upset by Andrew Lawrence's words. Let me just lean the baby back a bit. He's fallen asleep, so make him a bit more comfortable. There you go. A lot of people are going to be very upset with Andrew Lawrence. Even my mate Billy might be quite upset with Andrew Lawrence, but I just want to ask everyone to take a moment outside the emotions. Oh, and before we do that, in his video, the doubling down video, Andrew Lawrence accused Liverpool of loving being a victim, having this victimhood complex. Now, I've heard that before. I don't see it in the real world with the Scousers that I hang out with and interact with. I don't see that sense of being a victim. And all I know is that, you know, two very, very, you know, reality-shattering, I'm not exaggerating, reality-shattering tragedies have happened either in Liverpool or to the Liverpudlians. I'm talking about the Jamie Bulger murder. Internationally, you may not know, back in the 90s, two 10-year-old boys kidnapped a 2-year-old toddler, and in a very bad way, in a torturing, slow, and we can't talk about it here, and I wouldn't out of respect. And then, as well, moving to football, the Hillsborough disaster, where at Hillsborough Stadium, 96 Liverpool fans, many of them children, lost their lives in a crowd stampede and crush. Now, if you know anything about the British media, they're quite scummy, the tabloid press, and they blamed the Liverpudlians for causing the crush. So basically they said to Liverpool, you caused your own deaths, you deserved it in a way because you caused it. And so no wonder the Liverpudlians were up in arms and enraged. And I don't think it was so much wanting to be a victim. It was wanting to be seen as normal human beings, just like any other English person. And so Andrew Lawrence says that the Liverpudlians have a sense of victimhood, but I do think he's partly joking because it is a meme. It is a meme. And so, moving forward, I think it would be a good idea for the venues in Liverpool to not cancel and ban Andrew Lawrence, to maybe release a further statement saying emotions have been running high, but we appreciate that we are human and open to ridicule just like any other human or idea or nationality or cityhood on earth. It's almost like Liverpool played into the joke that Andrew Lawrence was setting, and they gave the punchline, releasing that joint statement banning him from clubs in Liverpool, kind of gave the punchline to the Liverpudlians not being able to take a joke that he did in his follow-up video. Andrew Lawrence did in his follow-up video. But I don't know, how long do wounds take to heal? Do tragedies make some people, some cities, off limits? I don't think it does. Everyone is on limits, within limits for comedy. And he mentioned in his video as well that when you speak to Scousers in Liverpool, they love the banter of an anti-Manchester joke. You know, there's a rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester. And crack a Manchester joke, the Liverpudlians love it. So in conclusion, in absolute conclusion, in closing words, I think we have what is called a storm in a teacup, where people are wanting to be angry and they're falling into the comedian's potential trap, which was to get a lot more publicity, which was to make the national news, get his name everywhere. You know, it's worth tens of thousands of pounds, that kind of publicity. And by doubling down, he's able to show his brand of comedy as well. So really, comedy is comedy, and that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching.